Hi everyone, this is Sasha and Susie from Women's Fight News, and we're going to have Ebanie joining us very shortly. Susie, how are you? It's a weird week actually because we've not got the fights that we spoke about last week to talk about this week.
I know. What's going on in the world of boxing? It's just crazy at the moment. Like, we just can't predict things from one day to the next.
It's a shit show is what it is. It's dreadful. I feel so sorry for everyone. I mean, I feel sorry for obviously Kristina O'Hara as well, but everyone on the undercard who's now not getting paid. They've just spent a fortune on camps, not just the fighters, managers, promoters, all of that.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. Right, we're going to have Ebanie joining us.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Bit late, girls.
That's Susie's fault.
Oh, that's right. That's because she's got the kids.
Yeah, because
late. I'm just late.
Susie stays up till like 3 a.m.
I know, it's ridiculous, and I'm in bed by like 8 o'clock, so this is too late for me. Ebanie, how are you doing? I know are you back in camp? Because I feel like you've probably had like the longest camp of all time. So you back in camp?
Yeah, I did have 2 weeks off, except I was quite ill for the whole 2 weeks. I was really sick. Most of the time, like pretty much 10 days out of those 2 weeks, I was really sick. So it was like a bit of a break, but at the same time, my body was kind of battling. Like, it was still under stress. So it was a bit shit to not have a proper break, but it's all right. It's all good. I feel good. I'm into my second week now officially of this camp, Take Two. Take two. And no, I feel good. Like, I mean, I'm a good starting point. So, it's good.
Yeah. Because you obviously were last out the end of March, obviously, when you won your world title. How frustrating has it been that we're now, obviously your fight's not going to be till December 10th. I mean, that's a long time.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Like I said, I was supposed to fight in September.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's frustrating as hell. Like, and we had an opponent, it was all locked in. And then halfway through the camp, it was like, nope, now you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, obviously we were fighting for it because one had my sight set on, fighting someone. I always had my sight. After my fight, Eddie always talked about doing a voluntary and doing 2 fights this year, fighting in twice at the end of the year. Fighting in September and fighting December. So I had my sights on 2 paychecks, 2 wins, 2 extra fights. And, but everything happens for a reason. It was pretty frustrating when it all fell through and I wasn't able to have the voluntary and I wasn't able to get that second fight this year. Because I put a lot of I rushed over. I literally packed up my whole life in Australia. Said goodbye to my family in 4 weeks, packed everything up to rush over here because I was told I was fighting in summer and I was having a voluntary defense in summer. And I won't go back now for a few years. So I rushed all of that because I put obviously my boxing first and because I thought I was fighting. And then I'm not fighting till December. So yeah, it's pretty frustrating. Got no purse, no money, like, from my fight obviously either. So it's a lot of things. It's frustrating.
How frustrating as well the fact that the mandatories aren't enforced across the board. Like, you don't all the time. It's just
just me.
Yeah.
I don't even think Cecilia Roman even had one mandatory in her 5 years as a champion. And then I've been told that I have to do mine in 6 months. I mean, I don't give a shit about fighting Shannon O'Connell. Honestly, I don't care. Like, I beat her anyways, just like I think I beat all of them. I'm gonna be undisputed. It's not that. It's just that, obviously I had plans and, I'm losing a couple of $100K. Because I'm not getting in the fight, all the sponsors, all the, for that fight. So it's what's frustrating. But I also don't cry over spilt milk. Like, I'm focused now on O'Connell, and I believe everything happens for a reason. Maybe I wasn't meant to fight. Maybe, who knows, if I thought something happened, who knows? You know what I mean? So that's just the way I think. But to say that it wasn't frustrating, that I've rushed my everything at home to move over here to fight in summer, and now I'm not fighting till December, a bit frustrating. And that no one else gets forced their mandatories. Like, usually it's a 9 month. Usually you don't have to have your mandatory for 9 months, and it's literally, I don't give it. I honestly don't care. Like, it's more the principle of it, I think.
It's a lack of consistency for me in boxing. you wouldn't mind if it was consistent across the board.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
it's just like you say, you've been forced to do this, and then you've got girl. I'm always going to pick on Choi, for instance.
Yeah, of course.
Who I mean, she doesn't even fight, but she's not given a mandatory. She's just sitting there with the belt, and she's held it for like 100 years, and then you've got a fight lined up, and then that's being taken from you, which is
Literally,
crazy to fight your mandatory.
Yeah, literally like lined up. The other girl was in camp, which we were both still in camp until that purse bid. So she was in camp working hard as well.
Yeah.
And then 10 days before we were both meant to fight, the IBF said, look, no, can't have an interim, because obviously we still wanted to have the fight. We both wanted to get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's missing out on that as well, isn't she?
Yeah, because we both put in a camp. You know what I mean? We both want to get paid. Like, it's, Shannon O'Connell doesn't care because she wouldn't get a paycheck. No, mate, she's getting 10 times her biggest paycheck in her life. Do you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't care about waiting, like, or not fighting, because she's just made 13 years of a paycheck in one payday.
Yeah.
So, but other people like me or like others who, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm just losing a couple of grand, So,
yeah. It is crazy. And then obviously your opponent now is Shannon O'Connell. She is your mandatory. There is genuine hate there. Like, where does it stem from though? Or is it because it's not just like bruised from a fight, has it?
No, I don't have hate for her at all.
Or like more on her side, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for her. All I can do is I know what I've heard over the last 2 years of her trash that comes out of her mouth. But I don't have any hate. I didn't even speak her name until we won the purse bids. You know what I mean? Or maybe once when I think that Ring IQ boxing, Julian, he asked me about it. Other than that, I've never spoken her name because I've never had a reason to. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, if I'm going to get paid and we've won the purse bids and I have to fight, of course, like I'm gonna start talking about it. I've got to promote the fight. You know what I mean? Eddie put in a lot of money. Eddie bid big, and I want to make it worth it for him as well for having my back. So. But I don't know. I don't care. I'm more just it's a bit annoying. Do you know what I mean? As a champ, like obviously I want to, we had plans as a voluntary, because that's everyone that wins a title gets a voluntary. So that's more. And it's not. I don't know. It's not really against her. It's not really a personal thing. You know what I mean? Except for when she told me I eat fucking pies and was body shaming me. I mean, that was a bit fucking rough, but. I mean, I didn't think I looked that bad, to be fair. But
Don't look to me. Well, that's the funny thing.
Shit. I mean, she should have seen me like 4 weeks before that. No, but honestly, I don't waste too much energy on hate at all. Now it's just about, I suppose, building the fight, and everyone is. I talk well of her. You listen to my interviews. I talk well. She's a good boxer. She's been around a long time. She's got a lot of skill, a lot of experience. A lot of people are like, who's this bum? Oh, Ebanie's fighting a nobody again. Oh, she's 39. Like, you see all the comments on my stuff, and I'm like, actually, like, she's actually fucking very experienced, and she's been around a long time, and she might not be really known, obviously, overseas and as a big name, but she's fucking well known in Australia. The queen of boxing in Australia. So. I'm not underestimating her, and I don't put her down because she's done her dues. Do you know what I mean? But I just believe that I beat her and I'm better. Like, it's different,
Yeah, because like I say, I mean, she's had, I think, 30 fights in total, so she is experienced. I think people who comment that, she's a bit of a bum and that people don't know, I suppose, boxing, do they? She is a mandatory for a reason, isn't she? Like you say, so she hasn't just appeared there overnight. But she
hasn't stripped off to get there. You know what I mean? So.
Obviously that's going to be on the Leeds card, on the Josh Warrington undercard. Leeds, like your second home, I suppose. So I bet you can't wait to get back there.
Oh, I can't wait, man. Like, I love Leeds. I love everyone in Leeds. I was just up there the other week. Yeah, just it's favorite city, and I've got a lot of support there, and beautiful fighting in that arena. Susie's been there. The arena's great. It's great atmosphere there. Walking out and all the fans there. It's amazing.
Someone else who's been added to the card is Shannon Courtney.
Oh, yeah.
And I know she come out in an interview, and I think you were obviously tweeting about her as well.
Yeah.
And I know when I watched the interview, I was like, gosh, she is like a different human being. It's unbelievable.
Look, Shani Chuo. Honestly, she's look, I retweeted it because I was impressed, and I don't, you know what, I'm not saying that she's changed or that I fucking like her. Maybe I'll like her a little bit, but she's got so much hate. We have our rivalry, right? But we have to have that. You gotta have shit like that in boxing. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just boxing. But like when you see someone and you believe and you feel that they're changing or whatever, I think you need to be open-minded to that, and you need to accept that people can change. And I'm much so like that. You know, I don't hold people in their past, and I don't know. I do feel like she has, but to be fair, I don't know. I still want to beat the fucking shit out of her. You know, because I fucking still just want to batter her, and I still, as much as she's changed, I don't know if she's changed that much. Where she's, you know, maybe deep down she regrets some of the things she said, or she gets where I'm coming from now. She can see, but who knows? I don't know, but I think that's just a big fight, you know. And I've always wished her well. I've always said that I want her to win the title back so we can have the fights. You know, I've always said that because it's going to be just huge for women's boxing and boxing. But yeah, I do, you know, like I said in my tweet, don't mind this new Shani, but you know, she has to do her thing. She has to win, and I'm pumped that she's on my undercard because it's fucking mad. Like, for me, like, it's going to build our fight. I hope she gets in the fucking ring after I win. After I beat O'Connell, I hope she gets in the ring.
You were saying about going further if you both win.
Oh yeah, I might even buy her. Nah, look, honestly, I think, like, I made a tweet saying Shani's on in Leeds, like, hashtag meant to be. You know, most likely, I believe, you know, Susie, you know me, I believe everything happens for a reason, and I think things are meant to be, and you know, I can see some big things happening that night for both of us, and it's just going to build our fight. So I think it's very exciting. You know, she's kind of in the same boat as me. I was supposed to fight 2 weeks before her, but it's been pushed. You know, we're both are doing a double camp. Fucking shit. But
yeah,
it's going to be worth it because it's going to be mad. And I think that interview got her. I mean, I didn't have to retweet it because I know everything that I retweet and everything I share gets my people see it, obviously, you know. And I didn't have to retweet it, but I wanted people to see that side of, like, that, what she was saying, because I respected it. I respected that she owned up and admitted that she lost that fight. You know? And that, like, maybe she didn't have a period. I don't know, but do you know what I mean? These are steps, and I don't know. I support honesty and authenticity, and if that's what she's deciding to do now, then good on her. But like I said, there's still got to batter her. Remind her who's the best. Because I still think that I beat her the last. Like, I've watched my fight against her that many times, to be fair, and I still think I beat her. You know, so
yeah. I mean, I did like that side of her. I did like the honest side, and I think she's not necessarily the most liked person in boxing. So I think that, you know, maybe changed a few people's opinions. But like,
yeah, definitely. Oh, well, I seen it on the comments on my things that I've shared. You know what I mean? That people, again, and I'm also very influential as well. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I know what position I have, and I also, if like I said, if I can see someone is trying to make a change and they're growing and they got growth, I'm gonna even though I don't like old Shani and we have a rivalry, I want to support it. I can't help it. That's inside of me. What I'm like. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
What mad week it's gonna be though? Like the fact that you've got both Shannons.
I know. Fucking hell. Well, to be fair, Shannon O'Connell literally makes Shannon Courtney look like a fucking angel. Honestly, like, she makes her look like nice. Like, she's actually not that bad, to be fair. So I don't know. Maybe me and Shani Wano can be buddies that week. I don't know. Nah, I don't know. We'll see. I play everything as it comes. Do you know what I mean? I'll take that week and I'll focus on myself and do what I feel is right and what I'm comfortable with, and you know, yeah.
So you see Shannon Courtney, if she rematches Jamie Mitchell, do you obviously see her winning then, or do you still think that's quite a close fight?
Oh, it's definitely a close fight. To be fair, I thought that I didn't think she'd have a chance beating Jamie again. But you know what? Boxing is fucking. It's really like 70% mental. You know what I mean? Like she's not. She wasn't very. I don't know. She's not very strong-minded. Do you know what I mean? And that's because she obviously has some kind of problems and insecurities, and I get that. But I just see the difference of her now being so true and honest to herself. Maybe in training and maybe going into a fight should be a lot different. Do you know what I mean? And that could change a few things. And she's still got she's been training however long. She's got till December. That's a whole couple of months more training, plus more months when she goes to train Mitchell. Who knows? She could improve. You know what I mean? There's no saying that she's not going to improve. So I can't completely judge it. But of course, I'll pick Jamie as the favourite just because she blasted her last time. But she was overweight. She clearly, like, not really there mentally. You know what I mean? She had that knee injury, you know, a lot of excuses, but valid to an extent. Do you know what I mean? But I think her biggest excuse for her last fight is she wasn't there mentally. You know what I mean? You could see it in her face in the fight. You could see she wasn't there. And if she can overcome that mentally, then yeah, I mean, you know, I've been in there. That was a year ago. Like, she'd be better than that, you know. So we'll see. I don't know. I hope she wins. Because I don't want to fucking fight her if she don't have a belt. Honestly, because I'm on a mission to become undisputed. You know, so like if maybe she'll have to come mandatory or something like that. But yeah, I wanted to fight. I would like her to have a belt because that's a big fight and in all ways. You know what I mean? It's big for the fans, big for me, big for us for money. You know what I mean? That's not fucking bullshit. Like, we're in this, it's a business, you know? We want money. Anyone that's, I'll do it for love, yeah, that's great. But if you can make fucking, you know, double the money, you're gonna, aren't you?
Yeah, and the Shannon fight's well bigger payday than Jamie Mitchell, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. You know, yeah, well bigger.
Yeah. I just want to ask, there's other Australians obviously fighting. It's this weekend. Obviously, we've got Susie Q facing Shanika Johnson. I'd love to know your opinion on this fight.
Well, Susie Q's been out of the ring for, I don't know, like 2-3 years, and she's like 45 or 44, or I don't even know how old she is, but she's older. She's well experienced. Again, she's got a lot of experience, but she's a lot smaller than Shanika. I'm gonna call her Neeks, Sugar Neeks, and obviously older. She's small and older. I think she's coming up like 2. I think Susie's a super fly, but she walks around at like that super bantamweight. She walks around at like 54, 55 kilo, you know. So she's small, but Neeks like walks around 60 plus, and when she gets back in the ring, 60 plus. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of weight discrepancy between them, and that can be obviously a thing. And like the age and just the ring rust being out for so long. And Susie's last fight, I mean, she didn't look that great against someone who she was supposed to just blitz, you know, like a kind of journeywoman. So I think that Shanika is gonna probably box. Like, if Shanika has the right game plan, I think she could she could probably bully her around and beat her quite like that. But the thing is that Susie does have really good footwork and she moves and got good angles. If she's the same Susie she was back then, do you know what I mean? But can she bring that in there? I don't know. And what's it going to be like when she gets hit? Mind you, Shanika Johnson isn't a big puncher, but she's still heavy, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the last time Susie Q went up to super bantam was, I think she might have fought Bobby Juarez at super bantam and she got battered. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, Bobby Juarez is a bit different to Neeks, but you know, I don't know. Yeah. I'm going for Neeks on that one.
Yeah, because that's for her Shanika's world title, isn't it? And I didn't understand how Susie Q got that fight.
Mate, I don't know either. Like, And how come Neeks is allowed to have a fucking voluntary?
Yeah, but it's a super random run as well. Like you say, she's been out the ring for years and years, so I don't get how you get from that to
tell me. I don't know. So Sugar Neeks is allowed to have a voluntary, and she
Same belt.
just one weight heavier, against a 45-year-old who hasn't been in the ring for like 2-3 years. Like, and not even in the weight class. She's not even ranked in super bantam. She's fucking ranked in super fly. Like, please, the IBF, please explain this. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to know why why it's just different for everyone. And it's just I'm the blonde bomber, so let's just fucking change the rules for me. You know what I mean? But I'm used to it. But everything is always different for me. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Because I know that Shanika turned down a couple of people, didn't she?
Yeah. She turned down Alycia Baumgardner. I think they wanted Neeks to fight Alycia Baumgardner. I know that Eddie was hitting her up and offered her as well. Didn't want it. But you know what? It's a first defense. She just wants to win. You know what I mean? Paycheck, win, kick the belt. That's usually what a voluntary is about. Let's not bullshit here. You know what I mean? It's fucking business. You know? And in Australia, that fight's kind of big. I mean, people kind of know who Susie is a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, it's not obviously not as big as me, Shannon O'Connell, but it's big for Australian women's boxing. You know, Susie's been around a very long time. Her and O'Connell were like the OGs. Do you know what I mean? Years. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think Neeks is still calling me out. She said after she beats Susie, she wants the winner of me and O'Connell. Like, we're not even in your weight class. But she knows, you know what? Because she knows I'm going to beat O'Connell. So she wants to fight me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Payday.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's your issue, though, isn't it? Everyone calls you out for that big payday, don't you now? That's the problem.
I know. You know, Shannon O'Connell should be thanking, instead of saying that I'm a disrespectful to the sport and I've done nothing for the sport and I've taken women's boxing backwards and all this kind of stuff that she said. I mean, she should be thanking me, because if it wasn't for me and how I am in my brand, she wouldn't be making 10 times her biggest paycheck. Do you know what I mean? But hey, they love to talk shit, you know, but fucking they can thank me after.
Right, before we let you go, I just want to quickly talk about the Unified Promotions show, because obviously you were there on Friday. I wasn't, because I was stuck in traffic for 3 million hours.
It took me 5 hours to get there. And
ridiculous,
it was
wasn't it?
You didn't get there, obviously, but it took me 5 hours to get there, and it was supposed to only be 3 hours and 15 minutes or something. I was frothing. But sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it was absolutely just crazy getting there. I think it doesn't help when it's on a Friday, but I've watched it back and I thought the show was just unreal, from like the production, the fights, everything.
And
just
it's
like
a female
a
promoter. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out. It was a female promoter, which I didn't know.
Yeah, Susanna Schofield.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, I'd only just met her. But that was pretty cool, and I had a female MC. I liked it. Anyways, so. But yeah,
well, I think that's what's great as well. It's so different because not only are they obviously promoting female boxing, it's everything else that branches out.
And that's, to be fair, that's why I went as well. Obviously I went to support, you know, Lauren and Lucy, because they helped me out a lot in camp. But I thought it was important for me as a big name in women's boxing and a respected name, and that to be there to support all the other girls, and also the fact that it was a female promotion. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really important. It was a bit of a mission, but it was important to me to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I like what Susanna's doing, actually, and I hope more people eventually follow in her footsteps, because it'd be great to have more women in these roles in boxing as well. I think it's quite important.
It will come, and you know, it was good. It was on TV. It was on TV or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, BBC iPlayer. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, free to everyone. I mean, that's literally available to anyone with a TV, I think, isn't it? The iPlayer, BBC iPlayer. So, I mean, and it's completely free to watch. So it was such a good platform.
Yeah, great.
Obviously, I know Lucy Wildheart, you've sparred a lot with her. What did you think of her performance? Yeah,
you know what? She was up against that girl, Claudia, what was her name?
Claudia.
Anyways, so I saw Nicola Hopewell fight her as well in her last fight.
Yeah.
This girl is like just a concrete wall. You know what I mean? And she's had that many fights, And you can just see it in there. Like, she's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and like, and it's a bit frustrating. But Lucy did well. She did what she could do. You know what I mean? This girl, it was going to be very hard to take her down. And she just kept chipping away at her. And I mean, she did what she had to do. She got what she won decisively. She looked good, you know. But yeah, I got to give it to that Claudia. Like,
yeah, she's had over 100 fights.
oh,
Like,
nuts! Like, I think even more. But yeah, she was in there like getting hit and like shaking her head like fucking hell, like literally the opposite of hit and don't get hit. Like,
yeah,
but like it was almost like she was taking the punches on purpose so she could be like, fucking can't hurt me, like just prove her toughness. But like, I don't know. We need girls, obviously, you know, we need girls like that in the sport. But yeah, Lucy, you know, it was good to see Lucy stay just focused and composed. You know, Lucy's a great boxer and she's quite experienced. You know, that was a 10th fight, and you know, hopefully she, you know, gets the opportunity to, you know, step up, fight some good fighters, and get, you know, her main thing is she needs to get in the rankings, and she needs to position herself right to get shots, because she's in a very big weight, like a, what do you call it, a stacked weight class.
yeah.
You know, so she needs to do the right things to get in the right position, you know, to get shots at titles.
Yeah, because she's featherweight, isn't she? So obviously you've got Amanda Serrano, who has most of the belt. I thought Lucy, her body shots I thought were unreal, actually, because her opponent was very frustrating, and I think I would have just spat my dummy out after like the second round.
Yeah.
I
felt like it took her a while to start with the body shots. I don't know if you could hear me screaming on TV like you could at Nicola's, but I was like telling her, because yeah, it was like the body was, because she was doing a little bit headhunty at the start, but and just, you know, we'll go to the body because it was quite open, because she was going ahead and her hands were up. But, you know, when you could try and break it down, and a girl like that's tough, like just got a concrete head, the body is the best thing to do, you know, because no matter how concrete your head is, your body, you know, it's always there's always vulnerability there. You know, if you hit the right spots and stuff. But yeah, no, she did good, put some good hands together and that, and, you know, obviously won decisively. So
yeah. And someone else who won decisively, and another sparring partner of yours, is Lauren Parker. She's obviously now IBO Intercontinental Champion, and you could see how much that meant to her when she won. And even I got like a bit of emotional, because you felt like you were living the moment with her.
You know, she works so hard. Like, you know, you see this girl fucking, I seen a comment from Stevie Levy saying about how Lauren was working all through the COVID, you know, and like she inspired Stevie Levy because her video, putting all the videos up. I was the same. I was watching Lauren going, fuck me, this girl she's fucking fit. Like, she doesn't stop. Like, you know what I mean? She's really like married to the game, not just boxing, but fitness in general. You know, she loves it. That's what she does. She's a personal trainer. You know, she does everything for this sport, and she works so hard, and she's quite intelligent with boxing. She has good IQ, you know what I mean? She can watch boxing, she can see things, like, because I always talk to her about boxing, obviously, but she works hard, you know, and it was good to see her get that opportunity and get that win, because she does put in all that work, and, you know, she's, you know, a lot of things, she's just changed coaches as well, and, you know, moving from her coach that she's had forever, then, you know, to a new coach, and is it the right thing to do, blah blah blah, you know, but it worked, and they did really well, and fucking hell, tough fight, not gonna lie, it was a tough fight for her. It wasn't no fucking easy fight. That Mexican, you know, these Mexicans, you just don't know. And she was well experienced. You can see there was a lot of experience in the Mexican. She came hard strong in the end rounds, as what you would usually do in a 10-round fight. But you know, you know, I'm sure, you know, I think her fight was impressive, and she'll learn a lot from it, as you do. I was actually speaking to her today, and I said, "What do you think? Have you watched the fight yet?" And she said, "Yeah." I go, "What do you think?" She goes, "You know what? I'm happy." She goes, "Obviously, there's things to work on, always things to work on, but I'm happy with my performance." And I said to her, I go, "Yeah, that's it. You know, no matter what, no matter how experienced you are, there's always something to work on." And and every time, like I said to her, I go, "You're going to get more experience. You're going to be better now." Because every title fight that I've had, even the Courtney one, after I've gotten 10 times better. It's just something about that experience and that moment that you just get better. So I'm looking forward to seeing her back in. That was like her first 10-round fight. I don't even think she's done 8-rounder. So you know.
Yeah, she's jumped from 6 to 10, didn't she? And she didn't
Yeah.
really gas. I know the commentators like Spencer Oliver was like, "Oh, she looks tired," and I was like,
Yeah.
I thought for the pace she had the fight, I thought it was. Yeah, maybe she looked a little bit tired. Maybe the 9th, I
Yeah.
think. But then
I felt
she
like
buzzed up in the 10th.
I felt like I felt like she, I don't know if it got tired, but by the 7th round, you could just see the other girl was picking it up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And because the other girl was picking it up, it changed the dynamics just a little bit. You know what I mean? And of course you're gonna get tired anyways. To a degree when you're punching like how she was. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah, because it was a high-paced fight, wasn't it? And high volume as well.
It was super high volume, and that girl was just coming forward the whole time. And Lauren was not only punching a lot, she was moving a lot, you know. And she's fit as fuck, but like it's still, you know what I mean. But it's all learning how to preserve your energy and this kind of stuff, you know, as well, as that's what you get when you get experience.
And also, what I was impressed with Lauren, the fact that what a show. The fact that she's gone from sort of more smaller horse shows. This is the biggest show she's done, where they put her as the headline
I know.
star.
Unreal.
Filming of her. She
killed it. She killed it. She rose to the occasion, and the whole crowd was there for her. Like it was great. She done really well, and I was glad that I could be there to witness her first title win. You know, she's a dear friend of mine, and she's helped me out a lot. She was my main sparring partner with Roman. You know what I mean? Sparring partners are so important. So she has, even with my win, my champion win, my world title win. She's part of that. It's a win for her as well because she's part of the team. You know what I mean? So for me to be able to be there, support her, go in the ring, like be in the ring with her, and walk her out, like it was special for me as well.
Yeah, definitely, and it was a great performance. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Lauren. Actually,
yeah. She's only going to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like she's only going to get better. She's got everything. You know, she's got that speed. She does have power, man. Like that girl was just solid. But you see when she got hit, her head bang. You know what I mean? But she's just a Mexican and they're just made of concrete. But anyone else, I'll go, good luck taking those shots, you know. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I could talk so much, sorry.
Well, Ebanie, we're going to let you go because I know it's past not only your bedtime, also mine, but Susie, obviously, just like everyone's saying, dead late. But I wish you well in the rest of your camp as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing you retain your title on December 10th.
Thanks, girls. It was great joining you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. See
you.
you,
Jimmy Jammers.
Oh, yes. My Cookie Monster jammies. Sorry, I didn't dress up for the occasion. I was like, fuck it. I'm just fucking going to stay comfortable. There you go.
See you. Thank you. Yeah, I am actually very excited to see Ebanie in her fight. That's going to be a great fight. I think the build-up's going to be my favourite bit.
Definitely going to be a great week, and especially the fact that it was already going to be a fiery week, and then to put Shannon Courtney into the
Shannon. I must say, have you seen the Shannon interview?
I've watched the highlights, the bits that were on social media, and she said everything right. That, you know, compared to how she said things in the past, the way she was, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was great, and I'm glad that Ebanie did share that because it was nice to see her in a different light.
Yeah, I just remember thinking, because I never know what's genuine and not with anyone, because you don't know if you know what I mean, and whether it's genuine or not, we'll never know. I think it is, but if anything, I genuinely think she's had media training, and that is something I've always said about Shannon Courtney. I've heard people who know her say she's actually a really nice girl, but she just, for whatever reason, just like word vomit shit sometimes when she's on camera, and she just says some things that just go against her. And I actually think, obviously, she's done SAS, she's getting pally with a couple of people who are on TV a lot, and I was thinking, I wonder if actually now she's had a bit of media training, and one, she's more confident so she can be more authentic, and she kind of knows what to say as well. I'm not saying she's not genuine, but it's also knowing what to say and when to say, and she's never been good at that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I almost feel like sometimes when she's being interviewed, it was almost like in the past, on the defense, she's putting up these protect herself, and then it comes across badly.
Yeah, but I don't think she means it. And like I think Ebanie mentioned about insecurity and things like that, and everyone gets it. So Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both, but I actually really, I mean, I quite like Shannon Courtney. I really like her story, but it was nice to see that side of her.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to go back to the Unified Promotions show that I am still very upset that I couldn't make. We lived that journey together, didn't we, Susie?
Yeah, I love that journey. It's quite funny because you just kept voice noting me, and then you're like, I really need the toilet. What am I going to do?
I feel like we could like put that voice notes as like a reel for everyone to just hear my pain of what I was going through that time. So,
like I felt like I was just going about doing loads of things while you were still just sat in that same spot.
Oh, it was a long day. And to be fair, I believe everyone involved in the crash is actually okay. I did double check that because I didn't, obviously that's the most important thing, but I believe actually everyone was okay. It was just the way the cars were that blocked the 3 lanes. But wasn't meant to be that night, but it's okay. I have watched it on TV twice. Yeah, and like I said before, I actually think a lot of people, a lot of other promoters and people in that, you know, what they do, could look at what Savannah and the team have done and be like, pretty impressive. We should do a bit of that, because it looked like a huge arena.
Yeah,
and it was definitely, it wasn't like the last show, which was a small hall show. I believe it was in one of the hotels, which is very typical for a small hall show. But just everything about this was special. You know, from the people she had there, she had Hannah Rankin there as well. She had Spencer Oliver, Ant Crawler. You know, she's got some great connections, hasn't she? The fact it's on BBC for everyone to see. She doesn't come from the world of boxing, but sometimes, I mean, Jake Paul's quite a good example. You don't necessarily have to come from the world of boxing to actually make a really positive impact. And I think she's someone who's doing that.
Yeah. And it's lovely because I remember an interview with her and how she presented it, how she wanted the unified promotion.
Yeah.
Is the fact that it's a trustworthy promotion. It's somewhere where people can go and feel like they can have, it's one-stop shop. Like, have a little bit of this or everything. So if you just want to go for the fights, or if you want the management, the promotion, and the fact that you can go there and be safe, knowing that you're not going to be ripped off, or
which just happens so often. And I mean, I've heard some horror stories now, and it's just heartbreaking. I know Lucy Wildheart, I know they mentioned that on comms, that she's had a bit of an issue as well. I think you mentioned it as well. And you just get the impression that once you're with them, you're safe, like you've just said. You know, Savannah, when I interviewed her, I remember reading it in the paper, and I was like, right, we've got to try and interview this woman because this is a brilliant idea. And everything she said then is what she's implemented as well. And it was just early doors then, and she stuck to what she said. And my only criticism with Unified Promotions is I just want to see more shows, because I just thoroughly enjoyed them, and I think that's the second one this year. I'd love to see like 4 of them, that show we've just seen at the weekend. That'd be great.
But I'd like it around the country as well, if possible, just selfishly, from my point of view, it's hard to get to. But I'm just thinking, from fight fans' point of view, it'd be nice for different parts of the country, for the different fans anyway. Yeah,
definitely. And for the fighters as well. I know, obviously Lauren's more down south, isn't she? But she can bring a good crowd with her as well. Selfish, I mean, after that trip, I would quite like it to just be in Liverpool next. I might ask Savannah if she doesn't mind, because so Paige Goodyear kicked off the show. It was a 4-round fight. It's only her second fight. Paige has had a bit of a frustrating start to her career because she turned over. She was meant to fight on the first Unified show. And then I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, her, what's it called? What never comes through for boxers? The medical. Her medical didn't come through in time, which is just classic, isn't it? That seems to happen all the time. So obviously she missed that. And then I think she was on the next show, and then the following show was cancelled, and now it's this one. So it's been a bit difficult for her. When I watched it, I already knew she won because obviously I'd seen, but I'm glad I didn't see it live, because I would have panicked after the first round, because it was quite a poor first round. In the nicest way, because I think her opponent come out very game. Opponent is very, very experienced. Her opponent, Esther, she's faced Savannah Marshall, Femke Hermans, Hannah Rankin.
Very experienced.
Do you know, I mean, she's solid. But I don't know if Paige was nervous or ring rust or both, but it was just a tight first round. And then I got nervous, even though I knew what happened. But then rounds 2, 3, and 4, she was awesome. She was just so good. She moved well. She was throwing nice combos. She's packs of power with a punch as well. And she was good. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world if you have a shitty first round when you then pull it back anyway. And I think she is going to be a fighter that suits the 10 rounds. I think because she's so technically great as well and quite a skillful boxer, I think she will suit the 10 rounds rather than with the 4. I think you've just got to have a high volume at times. And in a way, sometimes I suppose you've got to panic to get the rounds in. And I don't feel like that suits her. But I liked it. I really enjoyed her performance. But the first round made me nervous.
And the weight that she's at, again, we always say about the super welter, but more talent coming through. It's definitely one to watch.
Another super welter. I believe her aim is to go to welter. That's what the com said, but I don't know. But I mean, what's super welter to welter? You're just going to mix between the two, whatever opportunities come for her. But Paige is super young as well. Like she's got bags of time. She was a great amateur, and you can tell when she's in the ring that she's got a good pedigree of amateur experience. So a really good opponent because she was experienced. So I hope we see more of that. But hopefully out more than twice a year, because I don't think they'll get another showing by the end of the year. I think that's pushing the luck a little bit. So twice a year, I don't think is enough at that earlier stage. So if she could get out like 4 times next year, she'd be on a roll then. Because I'm a big fan of Paige. She without a doubt a future world champion in time. And I really enjoyed her fight. Someone else that fought, Kristina O'Hara. And I feel a bit bad because I, again, really like Kristina. And I think she was 2-0 going into the fight.
Yeah.
And they posted, a win tonight could like elevate her to world level. And I was like, that's a bit quick. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I watched and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. She was so good. She was so good.
She's so fast. That's what me.
Unreal.
She's in it. The opponent can react.
It was just so good. Her footwork in and out, like you say, her hand speed. Again, Kristina was a great amateur, and you can tell she's technically sound. Like she's so good, and I always say like pleasing to the eye. Like she's so good to watch as well. Very enjoyable to watch. And God, she just dominated. How her opponent lasted the distance. Fair play. I don't know how. I do not know how. And then I was like, now I get it. Yeah, of course she's going to be ready. Maybe not a next fight tonight. Obviously, she's going to have to go up. I think that was only 6 rounds she done. But get her on 10 rounds next and she won't be far off, like very exciting. And she's so nice as well. Like the first thing she said in a post-fight interview was mentioned her son and how she's been away from him and she just wants to get home to him. And you just fall in love with that, don't you? Because you think how much she's sacrificing to do what she's doing and getting these wins. And yeah, that was great to see. And again, I think Susanna's picked well because I think everyone, literally, they are future world champions, aren't they? And
again, talking about her weight, because she's sort of minimum weight, fly.
Yeah.
Some huge, that's a division to be in. Some huge fights there. Because you know, the whole Marlon Sparza, Denise strong the level.
Well, the com said, so Spencer Oliver, who I like, but I've got a bit of mixed opinions on him recently. I don't know if he'd done his research enough on some of not on the fighters themselves, because he knew enough about Lauren and Kristina, Paige and Lucy to talk about them, but the divisions, because he kept saying about there's not a lot going on in the minimum weight division. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Have you seen it? Like Sinisa Estrada, that's quite a lot going on for me. You put Sinisa Estrada anywhere, that's a lot going on its own. And a couple of them were saying like, oh, it's not a stacked division. And I was like, it is, but just not with massive names. There's a lot of Mexicans in there. There's a lot of girls from Japan in there who are tough. They're very, very good. It's just that we don't get to see the fights. It doesn't mean that they're not there or they're not good or they're not world level. it's a high skill division. It's just that they're not maybe household names, bar, Straza and them ones. But yeah, that I didn't quite like that when they were saying that, because it also puts the division down, and that it doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, and the thing is, people get into the head that UK's, UK fighters, the named fighters are what women's boxing is.
Yeah.
But they forget that how big boxing is in Japan, Mexico, Argentina. They've been loving women's boxing for a long, long time before Britain joined.
I was going to say, well longer than us.
Yeah.
Well longer. You look at the girls who've been fighting in Japan, their records, they've had like 50 fights.
Yeah.
And then our girls haven't. That's not because, and like they do have losses on the record, not because they're not good, just because they're all fighting each other. The best are fighting the best. And just because they don't get the opportunities to be on a big platform doesn't mean they're not there. And like I say, just because they're not from the UK doesn't mean they're not good. And so I just think there was a bit of that, which I wasn't a fan of.
And Japan often have all female events. Here we are talking about, historic this weekend, fight card.
Yeah, it's huge.
But they're often in Japan,
Yeah, 100%. So, and them smaller weights, they are exciting, and they're exciting to watch as well because they're so quick, but they're powerful. Can't tell me like Sinisa Estrada's not powerful. Like no one wants to be in the ring with her. So it's a good, but Kristina says she can. I think she said, or someone said on her behalf, she could probably flutter between 4-5 weight divisions. So I think it's a case of wherever the opportunities lie. But Kristina's tiny, so she can get right down there. But I'm sure she's got a great team around her. Her trainer, and I'm not sure if it's a manager as well, but definitely a trainer is her husband. Could you imagine?
It's like there's a few, isn't there? That Mabina, she trains with, lives with, trains with.
Callie Reese.
Yes, yeah.
Blows my mind, but each to their own. Fair play. It clearly works. And his advice in the corner was great as well. It works really well. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for Kristina's journey actually, and I think she'll be the first to get a world title for Unified Promotions.
Do you think? Yeah. Up between her and Run, maybe.
I'm still going to pick Kristina.
Okay.
It's not a race. I mean, they're all going to go at their own journeys, and I hand on heart believe all three of them will be world champions. I just think Kristina maybe would snatch it before Lauren, possibly. Wait and see. But they could all win it in the same year. They could all win it the same event. So who knows? And but yeah, very excited for all three of them. I just want to see them out more. Would be my only thing. But it's tough putting on shows as well. And I know Suzanne's big on getting on TV and things like that. And that must be a right pain in the arse trying to get that all logistically organised and stuff like that. But great show. If no one's not seen it, it's obviously on BBC iPlayer. I've watched it about 100 times now. We mentioned right at the beginning, just before Ebanie jumped on, no boxing this weekend. I know it's not female boxing. What's your opinion? Should it have went on? Because people, can I just say, when this was announced, and then that he'd Conor Bennett obviously failed a drugs test, and then it was announced, I think the following day, the whole show was off, and people were like, oh, can you believe it? And I was like, yep. I was like, of course.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, because the whole show was going to be off if the main event was off, because the whole event was based around the main event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, if someone fails a drug test, it should just be off. Of course, should be. Otherwise, it's not a legit sport, is it? But I just still don't get how it can be run the way it's run, because they have got a point in as much as how come he's become positive on one test, yet on all the other tests he was negative. So there should be just a standardized test, not a billion tests that they go, well, positive on the negative on the rest, so we're all okay to fight. It should just be positive or negative, fight or not. It shouldn't be all this politics around it.
So if the information I've been given is correct, I believe the one he's failed was the random drugs test.
Nevada.
VADA, which other sports use. I know tennis use that, and it's always random, and every player at some point or quite regularly get tested, which, you know, makes sense. And then the one he's passed, they know in advance, don't they, when they are getting tested, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think then it's quite easy to manipulate and put something in your body at a certain time, and then it won't be there when you're getting tested. So it just needs to be one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It needs to be what I said before about the consistency. In any aspect of boxing, there's no consistency. Do VADA because that makes sense. It has to be random. Has to be random drugs testing. It makes no point doing it if it's not random. There's just no point. And I'm a big thing of everyone should drug test, and then people are like, oh, it's expensive. Okay. But anyone on Matchroom,
yeah,
BT, I understand small hall shows, I get that. But you're telling me they can't fork out for that?
Yeah, it should be, like you said. It should be, they've got their lives on the line in the ring. It should just be mandatory. The same as when they do, the women have to have the pregnancy test. It should just be standard. Yeah. This is something they have to be tested for, the random drug test.
Other sports do it. And I'm not saying other sports aren't dodgy, because every sport's dodgy in its own way. But yeah, just absolutely nuts. And the fact, I think the negative was at the end of August. And then if it wasn't leaked, the fight probably would have happened. So all of it's frustrating because it affects every single fighter on that card, every single trainer who was with the fighter, every, you know, cut person or cut man, whatever. How many people is that? How many self-employed people has that just affected who have just spent a shit ton of money in camp? I heard one boxer had to take a loan out to them. Obviously, when he gets his purse, he can pay it off. But now he's got no purse. Like, you're just ruining people's lives. It's just shocking.
Because then in the time then you're training now for the fight to get that money back, you could have been training for another fight.
So it's an entire payday. And like Ebanie's just been saying, like, she's missed out on an entire payday. Yeah. And it's different amounts for different people, but it doesn't even matter. If you were getting two grand, it's still $2,000 that you've had to spend through camp. Whether it's $2,000 or 200K, it's horrendous for these people because they're spending all of their money and getting nothing in return. And it's shocking. And so part of me, well, a lot of me was like, well, I think Conor Benn should pay for everyone's purse because he's fucked it up. And then everyone criticised Jake Paul when he had to cancel his show because of an opponent issue. And Jake Paul paid everyone 50% of their purse if he didn't have them a fight within a few weeks, which is unreal. No one else does that. That'd be huge.
Yeah, they still criticise him.
Yeah. He's still awful. One worst thing that's happened to boxing. So it's devastating. The good news is 3 fights have been rescheduled. Obviously, Shannon Courtney is one of them, and we've got Alycia Baumgardner and Mary Romero.
And with Alycia Baumgardner, it's quite nice. It's quite because it's so soon. It's obviously the end of October.
Yeah, on the Katie Taylor undercard. So that's good.
But I was going to say that I do feel for Shannon Courtney because it's still a long way off now, December, considering she's already been out the ring for a year.
Yeah.
Months. And like you say, but that money, for a lot of reasons, it's not ideal at all.
She'd put on Instagram, she'd mentioned the money on Instagram saying, you know, because obviously I know she's done other bits and bobs, but she's been 12 months without having her full-time job in essence.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee she's lost sponsors because it's been a tough time for businesses as well. And if you're not getting your logo out there, unfortunately, they can't always pay, can they? Yeah. So she would have lost sponsors. She's not getting any money. You know, I know she's done bits and bobs, but not a lot. And then she mentioned the fact that she's just spent all of this money in camp and now she's doing it all again. It's just not fun at all. Like say, at least Alycia Baumgardner can somewhat kind of, I know it's still a long camp, but it's only a few weeks away. It's not as bad, I suppose. And obviously she's still fighting Mary Romero as well on the Katie Taylor undercard. And Ellie seemed quite excited for that because on Twitter, she made it known she was quite annoyed. I think they weren't told. I think that was the issue, was that the fight had been cancelled and the undercard still weren't told.
Yeah, because they kept getting pushed back in the press conference.
Yeah.
So apparently everyone was waiting around. and then apparently certain people disappeared, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, off."
Just yeah, it's just crazy. So I know she wasn't happy, but then she's quite a positive person, Ellie, isn't she? And I think she was quite happy with that. And like I said, she's quite happy that's on the Katie Taylor undercard. So that's exciting, something to look forward to. Let's hope that show goes ahead. I imagine it will. Don't think Katie's going to do anything dodgy. She's too nice. And then, of course, I feel like we've been talking about this show for years, but it's here. It's fight week.
And we're both going.
We are both going. How exciting.
Yeah. The fact that what's lovely is the fact that it's all female show. We can try and get as much content as we can, and it's just going to be a real. She can't wait to sort of celebrate women's boxing.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think that's the point, is like celebrating every fighter on the card. It's not just about the A side or the winners or whatever. Every person that takes part on this card is part of a historic event that we'll talk about for years to come. And that's what's so exciting. That's why I'm so happy that we'll call them B-sides, because for the undercard, it's the same fighters, because typically it would just be, well, sorry, you're not fighting now and you won't get your opportunity again. So it's nice that the entire card is the exact same moving forward. So I'm excited. So let's just quickly go through it, because we'll obviously talk about the two main ones. Who I predict will be under Alycia Baumgardner. Obviously, we've got Caroline Dubois. People pitch her as being kind of the future of women's boxing once Katie Taylor's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
she's exciting. We know she's got a lot of power. I can't wait to do, because she's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Her opponent has got a record of 10 wins, 14 losses, and 1 draw. So she's the opponent that lost to Dee Allen. If we remember Dee Allen's first fight, and Dee was knocked down by this girl, but then Dee knocked her out, I think, the next round or whatever. So, and I think Caroline will get another stoppage. I think her last fight, she got like a 3rd round stoppage, I believe. I think it's another stoppage for Caroline, which is nice, get on the highlight reel. Why not?
Yeah, definitely.
Say again?
What a show to get stoppage on.
And that's it. And I think with this one, it's like, I know people were criticising the undercard to start with, but I kind of hope this is a showcase of some of the girls do get knockouts. And I'm never normally a fan, because I think I like them to go the rounds early on. But I would love to see some just unreal stoppages, just like for that highlight reel, for the advert after. And I think Caroline will definitely do it. And I believe this fight's over 6 rounds, but like I said, I don't think it's going the distance personally. Another superstar in the making, we suppose, Lauren Price. Again, a lot of pressure, I think, on Lauren Price though.
Yes, because Sky Sports are really rapid again. And Taylor, there's a lot of pressure on her. But then I think it's quite nice being on another show. They're bigging her up to be like the headline female, whereas at least here, she's that little bit further down, can sort of have that little bit of pressure off her, and just to perhaps enjoy the event a bit more.
That's actually a good point, because a lot of the girls on this undercard are massive prospects, and when they're on, everyone is there ready to criticise, I think, especially when you've got Karis, Lauren and Caroline, because they're obviously, former Olympians. Everyone is ready to pounce and be like, oh, their opponent was shit, and this should be this, should be this, should be this. Whereas I feel on this one, everyone's just going to kind of appreciate the fights, waiting for the big fights. So, and that's quite a nice place to be, actually. Lauren's opponent, 6-6. Again, I think decent though, got more experience. She's fought Maria Lindberg as well, her opponent.
Yeah.
Kirsty Bavo, it's again, we're expecting Lauren to come through, but another good performance. But a good opponent, I think. It's not going to be easy. And Lauren's first opponent wasn't easy either, I didn't think.
And it's only a second fight, so it's solid for.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what's exciting about some of these fights, when they're only 2-3 fights in. We're just starting to learn, like, their new style. Obviously, a lot of them have come from Olympics and amateurs who may be guilty for the first couple of fights of maybe carrying that amateur style through with the straights and not necessarily going to the body. So it'll be nice to see their development and their journey as well. Clarissa, who impressed everyone in her debut. And I remember sitting ringside and listening to them body shots just like crunch into her opponent's ribs. Felt sick, but it was amazing at the same time.
You got that instinct. She can just see it all over her face. She goes in for those shots.
It's funny because she comes across like super sweet, which she is, I'm sure. And then when she's in the ring, she's terrifying, but in such a good way. And she just doesn't hold back though, Cara. So she's a come forward fighter. And she likes to just let the punches go. And there will be no change in that, I don't think. But she was very accurate in her last fight, and the rib shots, oh god, they were painful. Like the girls, like she was all red after like the first 30 seconds. And so expecting big things. I think Clarissa could get a stoppage. I know she's mentioned that she wants one, as I'm sure everyone does, but I think she could get a stoppage. Her opponent, 5 wins, 16 losses, and 2 draws. So again, very experienced. And she's fought Stevie Levy, I believe, as well. So we would have seen her on our televisions at some point. This fighter, though, she's been around for quite a while. I think she turned pro in 2007, but she's had like big gaps. I'm not sure why. So she had a big gap, and like I think this is the fighter who had a debut and then had a rest from 2007 to 2011. Must have been a bit tired, and then she come back, done a few years, and then had another gap, but has been quite active the last couple of years. So that'll be interesting to see. But again, you know, she's had more fights than Clarissa, and even though they're not all wins, it's still more experience in that ring, isn't it, as a pro?
Because the thing is, we see these upsets sometimes where you're like, oh, mismatch, or you know, it's just a starter opponent. No, you know, sometimes these opponents shock the ace.
Well, and I think they're going to be more dangerous than ever because this is their time to shine. Can you imagine if one of these girls gets an upset? It's something that we'll always talk about. It could be life-changing. Do you know what I mean? Think of the opportunities you could get after, even if it's not fight opportunities, but everyone will know your name. It's exciting. So, you know, everyone here is coming to win. No one's coming to I don't think none of the girls are coming to just survive and clinch and hold on. I think they're all coming to put a statement on because they all want their names remembered, don't they?
100%, yeah.
Ebanie Jones. Obviously, Ebanie had that shock draw, but her last fight come out very convincing. Kind of feel like she's just going to be back on track now. I think that was just a very unfortunate draw also, wasn't it?
And yeah, it wasn't meant to be, you know, she was meant to win really. If you look at the fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a harsh draw. But it doesn't matter. Like, you know, say Amanda Serrano had a loss and a draw very early on in her career. Didn't do her any harm. So I don't think it's the end of the world. If anything, you just come back stronger, I suppose, don't you? Her opponent is 4 wins, 15 losses, and 3 draws. She's also been in with Sarah, who obviously recently fought Amanda Serrano.
Okay, yeah.
You know, she's been in with some high quality opponents. Recently, she's been in with Ellis Booth and Tyson Gallagher as well. So, you know, she's fighting these prospects also. So again, just experience, isn't she? I'm presuming all these fights are 6 rounds because they're not up yet for all of them. How many rounds are doing?
Would have thought Ebanie's doing a 6-rounder. She wouldn't be doing anything less than that.
No, I don't think anyone. No, I'd be shocked if anyone was doing 4. I don't think, but we'll see. April Hunter, she has had a shock loss in her career against Kirsty Babington. But in hindsight, it shouldn't have been a shock. I think people underestimated Kirsty.
Yes, definitely, because she then went on to be European champion, didn't she? So
Yes. Her opponent, 5 wins, 1 draw, and no losses. No, that's April Hunter's. I was thinking that looked higher than what I thought. Her opponent's record, 3 wins, 6 losses. That one makes sense. It's April's who's got 5 wins, 1 draw. And her opponent only turned pro in 2021. So very fresh, like April Hunter, being very active. She faced the same opponent Terry Harper faced in Terry's comeback fight at lightweight.
Okay.
Yamila, I feel. So that's an opponent. So again, you're probably not necessarily looking at world level opponents, but maybe like the mid-level she's been in the ring with. So probably similar standards, I'd say, to maybe Kirsty Babington. So I'm not saying they're evenly matched, but I feel like it's not a walkover for April, this fight.
I'm excited to see April, because she did have that little hiccup. And then obviously she's changed coaches, she's a great coach now in Fury. So I'd love to see the progress she's made, because obviously the longer she's with him, the more changes we're going to see with her and her style. So I'll be very interested to see how she comes out and fights this time.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, she was with Joe McNally, I think. I know she was up in Liverpool with a team when she lost, and it just didn't look like it gelled. I don't think, even in the corner when she was losing that fight, the information she was getting wasn't even right, and the whole fight, the wrong game plan. She looked a bit in between styles. I thought it just didn't gel. I think it was quite clear to see that that partnership didn't work for them at all, I don't think. But not only is she with Peter Fury, who we obviously rate very highly, don't we? And he's great. Boxing UK done a great interview with him actually on his YouTube channel. And he's great. He's just full of wisdom, isn't he, Peter Fury? He is. And I could listen to him talk all day.
And, she's there with him, like I said, who's a great, full of wisdom, great person for her to give us some sort of, advice and like, the wisdom. But also she's got her friend, her best friend, Savannah Marshall. So what a lovely camp to be around, just such a positive camp for her. Happy fighter, is a dangerous fighter maybe. So see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good point with Savannah Marshall. Obviously, the great friends, the fact that they're back together, kind of like reunited. No one, to get advice off Savannah Marshall, you're not doing too bad. And also, she was sparring Terry Harper for Terry's fight. So obviously, April's been getting good sparring in as well. So it's good. I think it'll be a tough fight, but April will want a tough fight because she'll want to start moving on now. She's had a handful of fights. I'm sure she's going to want to start progressing through the ranks now. So. But I'm very excited to see. I feel like we're going to see like a new April.
Yeah.
Because the fact that she's went through a camp with Savannah, who's going through such a massive fight, I feel like this will be where she's like really evolved in this camp. So I am very excited to see that. And then we have Shannon Ryan. I know you're a fan.
Yeah, we're both fans, aren't we? Because she's got such a fan-friendly style. I can't wait to see her back in the ring. She's exciting to watch, fast. I just can't wait. How many rounds was it last time she was out? So it'd be nice to see her do a few more. Was it? I
feel like she only done 4 last time.
Yes, how I feel. So I'd like to see her do a few more rounds. And
she's so fast, isn't she? Hand speed, footwork. She's great when you hear her in interviews and stuff like that. She's very personable as well. Her opponent is very experienced again, and her opponent also managed to get a draw against Lauren Parker early in Lauren's career. Now we are tipping Lauren to be future world champion, so I've never seen that fight in all fairness, but to get a draw against Lauren Parker, you're doing all right because Lauren's good. It is the same opponent that Shannon Courtney faced. And it was that kind of like infamous like knockout, if you remember. I don't know if it was like the left hook or something that like spun around. But she's also been in with Shannon Courtney. Obviously didn't get the win. I think Shannon got the stoppage. But that was not long before Shannon went on to challenge for a world title. So, you're talking about a world level fighter. So experience. And if I remember her correctly against Shannon in that fight, she's a bit awkward, if I'm remembering correctly, where she can likes to clinch and like grab you in on the inside, but then she's quite happy to run away as well. Because I do remember there was periods in when Shannon fought her where Shannon was literally having to like chase her down the ring. So she's a bit awkward.
Was she the one that came out all guns blazing initially?
I believe so.
On and obviously then
But
it
then gassed after 30 seconds, and then it was a bit like she seems frustrating. Like you can't really do any inside work because she just becomes awkward. But then when you're using your range, she runs.
wasn't she an MMA fighter? Well, she's obviously experienced in the ring.
Oh, I'm not sure actually, but if that's the case, yeah, because you can tell she was experienced for sure.
And it's with her. She's actually quite active on social media, Twitter and Insta.
She is.
I feel like she's very excited again. Like you say, it's this big event. They want to put on a show. She's obviously very excited to be on the show. So, it's going to be exciting because some of these performances, they're not just there to make up the numbers, like you say.
Definitely not. No, she has been active because I know she tweeted on the post that we tweeted today about see you on Saturday. It's like, we will, because you'll be in the ring and we'll be watching. But yeah, I mean, could it be an upset? I don't know. I'm convinced we will see an upset on this card. I'm not saying this one. I don't know. I'm not going to pick, but I feel like we will see one. But I don't know. But Shannon, she's very good, isn't she?
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot to beat Shannon Ryan, I think. I think it'd have to be a case of Shannon would have to freeze in the moment and do nothing, which I don't think is going to happen. I'm looking forward to this one.
Me too. Ginny's very exciting, and I'm so excited that she gets to come over to the UK and showcase herself on such a massive platform. Because she's a future world champion for sure. And she in the interview that I did with her, she's already calling out Marlon Esparza. She feels she's ready. So really these fights are just to sort of establish her in the pros, and then it's fast to the top.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting if she can get Gemma out. Will it go the distance? Will she get? I don't know. Will this be 4 rounds? Maybe.
I'm hoping not. Because she's first. If she's planning on fast tracking, I feel like it should be 6 rounds. But then I can't imagine them not being any 4 rounders. And I'd say that Ginny and Sarah Leishman seem to be the ones that sort of the first fights that they're going to be on, based on where they're positioned in the poster.
So yeah,
I think it's going to be 4 rounds. It's probably their fights, but it would be a shame to see her in 6.
Yeah, it would be a shame because she's only 1-0. Yeah, maybe she would be the fighter that would do the 4 rounds. Like say, I hope not. She'll get a knockout in her debut, didn't she? Which is impressive.
I just love everything about her. The fact that she really knows who she is. She's already this established character. She's got this whole, because she's the captain. She's captain of Pirates. Everyone wears the eye patches. She has the Pirates flag. That, because just imagine everyone with their pirate stuff around ringside.
Yeah, she's such a good personality. I like when you see like clips of her and Mikaela Mayer, who obviously they're very good friends. They're so funny together. But Ginny in her own right, she is such a personality, and I think she will be a superstar of boxing actually. And I think she's someone that American boxing needs, along with Mikaela Mayer. She's a great personality as well as Claressa Shields, and you add her into the mix, and like I say, she's already got like her own character, which is super important, I think, in boxing, because it identifies who you are as well. You're not just like a female boxer; you're this character in it as well.
And I love what she does for mental health with the OCD, because she has, for people who don't know her, she's got really bad OCD, and between her and Mikaela, they highlight the day-to-day problems that Ginny has with that OCD and how it affects her life. But it's not the fact that it affects her life, it's the fact that how she gets around that. And I think that's brilliant, because the fact is she has these problems, but she works her way through them, and she's an inspiration to people who have got these issues, that don't let it hold you back and look where you can go.
Yeah, which is amazing, because she's already using her platform for such positive things. And yeah, she is great, and she's gonna, we're gonna expect her to beat Gemma. I think she could get Gemma out, and Gemma's tough, like very tough.
That would be impressive if she does.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and I actually think she could though.
Yeah.
And again, no disrespect to Gemma, because Gemma is tough, and she bags herself wins as well in her own right. I think it's 5 losses, 4 wins, I believe she's got, or something along them lines. But yeah, Ginny's good though.
All that amateur experience in Team USA. So
yeah, so got her winning, possibly by knockout also. Sarah, I'm excited to see her in the UK.
Yes, definitely.
Connolly as well.
She's actually been pretty active because she's the only one out of the whole card who's had a fight since the tournament. So she's already been out winning belts as well, some titles. So yeah, she's fresh, ready to go.
Yeah, with some of these fighters, I mean, like Sarah, she obviously was scheduled to do this card September 10th and then the fight a couple of weeks later. And she's been quite active. I think she's 5-0 now. So for her, this won't affect her because she's clearly fighting at a weight that is very close to where she can be at constantly. So this wouldn't have affected her like maybe some other fighters who aren't out as often, who maybe aren't fighting close to walking weight and who have to go through the camp to get to weight. Clearly someone like Sarah, because she's being so active in such a short space of time, she'll probably have the best performance out of everyone because she's just ready to go. And she, like a camp is a camp to her. She's probably in camp all the time because she's being that active. Great to see Beck Connolly on the card as well. I'm
pleased she's on it because she's Beck is just well established within UK boxing. Everyone loves Beck, so it's nice to see her on the card.
And what I don't want to hear from people is, she needs to retire, because Beck will lose this fight. She is going to lose this fight, Beck Connolly. But her record will then be, if I can find it, 3 wins, 16 losses if she loses. There's other girls that we spoke about today who have had over 100 fights, and we're not asking them to retire.
Yeah.
And I know everyone does it because and I'm the same, because everyone likes Beck, you don't want to see her get hurt. But it's her job. She loves doing it. It's her happy place. So now everyone has to get on board with her.
And she's healthy. Like she says, she does a medical brain scans and it's all okay.
So I imagine Sarah's going to win this fight, and just let Beck be Beck. As long as she goes out and has a good time, puts on a good fight, then that's all we all want for her.
And she's someone who you just know that we're going to come out, hopefully we get some interviews on Saturday, and you just know she's going to be there with a big smile on her face no matter what happens on Saturday.
Yeah. That was like when I last interviewed her, she was on a boxer show, and I can't even remember who she fought. That was Ebanie Jones, actually, I think she fought. And she'd lost, but she had the biggest smile out of anyone. She was the happiest to be there. So, she's living her best life, isn't she? Literally, is what she always says. She's happy doing what she's doing. So, I was the same way. He was like, should she retire now? But no, that's her job. She has made that clear now. So I'm happy she's on that platform.
And that reminds me, actually, because I remember seeing her in the hotel after Sky beat her in Leeds back here in March. And again, that's the first time I actually spoke to Beck properly in person. And she's so lovely. She's happy. Like you say, it's a job she loves. Yeah, loving life.
Yeah, she's just living the dream, isn't she? So, yeah, I hope we don't hear all of that rubbish this time, because she's made it clear now why she's doing it. She enjoys doing it. Let her live her life. But I'm happy she's got that opportunity. And then we've got Georgia O'Connor, who does have an opponent now. She didn't have an opponent for the first one. Her opponent, Joyce, is 2 wins, no losses, 1 draw. And super welterweight, Georgia O'Connor's fighter.
An interesting opponent, actually.
I've not seen anything of her, but
just based on that record, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know Georgia didn't have an opponent, I don't even believe on Fight Week, if I'm remembering correctly. I know she definitely didn't on the poster on Fight Week as well. But yeah, 2 wins, 1 draw. So, like I said, I've not seen anything of her, but Georgia O'Connor's obviously 2-0, very fresh, very new herself. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see that fight. But I mean, we're all expecting Georgia to come through. But like I said, I don't know enough about her opponent. We'll find out on the night. Could this be the upset? I don't know.
No, they're all great prospects. That's the thing. I would say I couldn't pick, to be honest, if there was one, because
I can't pick who it'll be. There's no one in my head who I think, oh, but
No.
I've just got that feeling, and I'm never right about anything, so it doesn't matter.
But that's what's so great about boxing.
Yeah.
Is you predict what's going to happen from one moment to the next. Is a show going to? Isn't it going to be on who's going to win?
Yeah. Has someone failed a drugs test and they try to hide it, or have they not? Are we all clean this time? Is Choi going to fight? Yes or no? It's all going off. So that is the thing with boxing. But I also hope everyone tunes in for the undercard, because it is a great opportunity to see these prospects. There could be an upset in the sense of, I remember saying it the other week, this will be who's got the best team around them, who's been able to adapt and get ready for this change of dates, who's been able to keep disciplined and keep strict with themselves. There's so much that would have went into it mentally as well. It would have been tough. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm excited. Even if we were, if I wasn't there actually Saturday, I'll be at home from the first fight on, watching them all.
Oh, 100%. So
first fight to the last fight, I can't wait.
Yeah. So if we weren't going, I'd already planned, because obviously we wasn't sure if I could go. And then I was going to get my popcorn. I was going to get some chicken strips for the dinner time. I just had it all planned. I was going to do my sport meal.
Should we just bring it anyway? Pop it in a bag. We can have it.
Yeah, I reckon. Definitely popcorn. Maybe not the chicken. That could upset some people, but I reckon some popcorn. No wine. I probably would have had wine at home, but no wine. But that's okay.
But you go afterwards.
Yeah. But I'm going to be there right before the first fight. There's no way. I'm not missing one fight on this card. I'm so excited.
Yeah, when it's there as well, I want to be in the arena early. I want to soak it up. I want to see who's out for. I want to just feel the whole event.
I feel like we're going to get there before it's even open, before the staff are there. They'll be like, oh, it's only 9 a.m, girls. Come on.
Look, let's interview the cleaner.
Yeah. How do you feel about this moment? So I am very excited. And then we've got, that was all the undercard. And then, of course, we've got Mayer, Baumgardner as the co-main. They've been a bit quiet for me since this rescheduled date. I'm upset with both of them.
Well, do you know what I think? The thing is, it is difficult, because it's knowing how much to push new content, because they've got all the old content that they're pushing out now. We need some new content. So I feel like we're really going to start feeling it from when there is the fresh content from sort of Wednesday on.
But are they allowed? Because remember, Mikaela Mayer put out that Alycia Baumgardner was banned, but only from live stuff.
But live stuff, so probably like, how they had that handshakey thing or whatever it was. So I still think, because obviously she's still going to have to be the press conference live. They can't ban her from that. And certain things. So I've got high hopes for all those kind of things, really.
Yeah, I feel like they must be waiting for it.
I really want them to have another handshake, but I'm looking forward to the head-to-head the most, because obviously that was quite heated last time.
That's what I'm really excited for.
Or some sort of,
The weigh-in I'm excited for in general, because obviously we want to see what everyone's weighing in at, especially the main 4 fighters. It'll be interesting to see where they're at. I mean, could you imagine if someone miss weight? I don't think they will. I'd cry.
But to be honest, the poor athletes have been through it, haven't they? Like, I wouldn't even blame someone if they did miss, because they have got themselves up to peak fitness, peak weight, and then suddenly it's been postponed. It's not great for anyone, that kind of thing. So yes, I reckon they will make weight, but I wouldn't blame them if they were a little bit off. No, because it's very tough.
I just feel like something's going to happen. Nothing bad, like I feel like the event's going to go on and that, but I just think there'll be something. Yeah. And what I don't want it to be is like a controversial win, like shitty scorecards and all of that rubbish. I hope none of that. I don't know. I just feel like something's going to happen. Maybe Alycia is going to throw a chair at Mikaela or something and do. I don't know. I just feel like something's going to happen. I don't know why, but we're going to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think the bigger question is on Mikaela Mayer and her weight. I'm confident that she'll make weight on the scales, because she's just such a true professional. Great team. She's got that chef again. Looks unreal. Yeah. So she's going to make weight on the scales.
I'll be food.
It looks unbelievable. It's just, does it affect her performance? Is it too many weeks too long for her? That'll be the question that we won't know till the night. And I think that's the biggest one for me. Alycia will make weight. I think this is a comfortable weight for Alycia. I think she could even drop down Alycia Baumgardner because she's tiny in height.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But I think that's a question that'll happen on the night. I mean, there's no way Mikaela Mayer wouldn't make weight. There's just no way. I don't see it. So that'll be interesting. And then, have you changed your opinion on who's going to win that fight?
No, I'm still. I love this fight. I like both fighters. I think it's going to be to me, in terms of styles and how they're both their styles and how they'll come forward and how that gels. I think it could be fight of the night.
Yeah.
But I still edge it to Mayer, but just because of the experience, because we know what Mayer's all about. Let's see, see what Baumgardner brings to the table, because we know she got that amazing knockout, didn't we? So let's see. But it's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm excited. I did see Mikaela Mayer put on a tweet saying that she was ready for September 10th, but she feels like she's being able to really implement this game plan now, and it's concrete and things like that. But I suppose you've got to say that. You can't be like, oh, this has been a disaster. And I think Mayer's going to have to, because we already, so in this build-up week that we're going to start to have, we know Baumgardner's going to mention the weight and mention Mikaela struggling and all of that. So we know that Mayer's going to play on the fact that these extra weeks have been perfect and all of that. So, and everyone's going to say that, aren't they? So it's like everyone says it's been the best camp. And then if they lose, they come out and say, oh, well, I had problems in camp. It's like, oh. But you can't be truthful prior. And then we've got the big one.
Yeah.
Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall.
I was so, when the fight got postponed, because we were expecting finally to find out how this ended, this rivalry, and then the rug got pulled from under feet. I was like, because I remember people messaging going, this time Sunday we're going to find the winner. No,
it was crazy.
Fingers crossed we get to find out exactly what we've been talking about all these weeks.
I know. I'm surprised Clarissa's did she land today in the UK, or have I only just seen the video today?
They are just putting the videos out, but it's the weekend apparently.
Makes sense, because I was thinking that's really late, because she came out weeks prior, didn't she? I know Mikaela Mayer was the first to arrive, but I think she just likes London. But she got there nice and early last time. I know Clarissa did as well, and I was like, no way, Clarissa's only just arrived. That's quite late. But I've not seen Alycia Baumgardner in the UK.
I haven't seen anything about the other fighters, just those two.
Yeah.
So,
and we know Savannah's here, but she's obviously in Newcastle. This one's interesting to me. I know we spoke about it the other week, but I'm now more thinking about Savannah mentally. How difficult has it been, and with the weight? And I never know if Peter Fury's doing the tweets that he was doing about, she's not being able to eat in 26 hours. Is he doing that to throw people off?
Well, in an interview since, she's continued to say that, of how hungry she was and how many hours she had gone without eating. So she's confirmed that was true.
But is that playing up then if you keep talking about it? Because I would be so pissed off if my trainer come out and said that.
You know what? Yeah, it could be part of their game plan. I think
it's a weird thing to keep going on about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you've eaten now, get over it type thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I understand it was frustrating and it was ridiculous what they done for the fighters. But I don't know. If she's still talking about it genuinely, one, I'd be worried why she couldn't eat for 26 hours, because I thought this was more of a natural weight for her than Clarissa. And then, like, why is it still playing on your mind to still be talking about it weeks later? Why are you still thinking about that experience and the fact that you didn't fight? Because now you've got to forget that. Like, the fact that you didn't fight September 10th does not matter, because it's been and gone, and it's about this date. So, or is she just saying it to play on it type thing, to distract from something? I don't know. It's weird though.
But one thing's for sure, I can't wait for the press conference, because it was that good last time. I can't wait.
It's going to only be better this time though, because now they've had more time to think about things. Like, I remember when you said this last time.
I'm going to be disappointed if they don't put on accents this time. Oh,
I am so excited. Are you still sitting on the fence for this one?
yeah. I'm leaning. I've said before, I'm leaning towards Shields just because I think that she's so slick. She's so best at what she does. Out of all the women, I say she's the most slick, untouchable in the ring. And if you've got the most amazing power in the world, you can only knock out something you can catch.
Yeah.
The question is whether she can catch Shields, and I don't think she can.
No. I know Peter Fury said that, she's been working on Savannah, has been working on her foot speed and her hand speed and stuff like that. And I suppose she would need to in a way, but yeah, will she land that big punch? I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's always going to be there. Savannah could have lost 9 rounds, and in that 10th round, it could all be, and that's what's dangerous, I think, for me. It's that 10th round if Savannah is down on the cards, because Clarissa outboxes her, like people think, and I think Clarissa can outbox her. And that's only because Clarissa's very, very good, not because Savannah isn't a good boxer, but we're just talking about just that tiny. I don't think, when I say outbox them, I think she'll take a lot of the rounds, but I don't think she's going to win each round like, easy Clarissa round. Savannah's obviously there to make it difficult. I just think Clarissa's got that slight edge where she can adapt when needed to win. If she got 90 seconds in the round and she was like, well, I'm not sure about this, she'd be able to switch something to make sure she's catching the eyes of the judges for the last 30 seconds. But with stuff, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure whether she'll. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, could Clarissa shock us all and she gets the knockout?
Well, who knows?
That'd be some good odds.
Yeah.
Actually,
that would be huge. Can you imagine what that like? All those people that have said all these things about Shields and her power.
Shields has power. There's no denying it. She's just not like a one knockout puncher, but not many are. Do you know what I mean? But Shields has power.
And she's faced top opposition from debut on. She's never had these journey.
From cruising your debut.
Never had these journey women to practice on.
No, that's true. I was just looking online at like bets that you could put on, and I was like, if you kind of went for the opposite of what people think, so I put like Mikaela Mayer to win by knockout and Claressa Shields to win by knockout, and it was 73-1. It's like, put a tenner on that at £730. Because obviously we're expecting them to go to points, but
I've got a bet on myself, but perhaps I'll reveal whether they came true next time.
I know. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Now, the big question for me is, let's say Savannah Marshall loses, and we'll take the rematch out of the equation. Does she retire? Will Clarissa, whether there's a rematch or a trilogy, will Claressa Shields be Savannah's last ever opponent?
See, you're convinced she's going to retire.
I know, no one else believes me.
I just feel like there's just so much more Marshall can do. It doesn't have to be Shields and that's it. There's, Shields is the top. Even if she doesn't beat Shields, Marshall can be top dog of everyone else. Do you know what I mean?
I think mentally she's done. I don't think she's going to retire because she's got nothing else to do. Like you say, she can go and conquer other divisions and shit all over everyone else in it because she's that good. But she's just mentioned it too many times. But when she says it, she says it in such a genuine way of, I have boxed my entire life. I've sacrificed everything. I've hit an age where I just want to go and retire and start a family and reap the rewards of her success. I believe that. I know other people don't, but I am always right. We're just going to quickly go through some comments before we finish. Baumgardner's knockout of Harper might be a bit misleading. Yeah. Harper was, I mean, we always say that Harper. It was an unreal punch, landed right on the temple, massive like loop and right hand. But Terry Harper was not like the Terry Harper that she was against Hannah. And this is what you're saying, is then we don't know enough about Baumgardner because she didn't knock out the next girl.
No, so we just don't know. She could be exceptional, next pound for pound, top pound for pound fighter. We just don't know. That's the question. Quite exciting. We just don't know at this stage.
Yeah. We've got some people thinking Savannah Marshall will nail Claressa Shields. I wouldn't, like, Clarissa has been dropped. I know it was early on in her career and she was weight drained and she admitted herself she hadn't cut weight properly and things like that. But I mean, yeah, I could see Savannah possibly getting Clarissa to the canvas, maybe. I mean, it's not, you wouldn't be shocked. Well, you would be when you're watching it live, but it wouldn't be like, oh my God, who would have known Savannah could do that? But I think if Clarissa got knocked to the canvas, she'd get back up and she could then still go on to win.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, they could both get knocked down.
Claressa Shields is adamant that she could take Marshall's punches on the chin and not let it affect her. She's adamant about that. So let's
see. Will be interesting. Shields has no power. Marshall's is slow. I mean, that's harsh. John, that's a bit harsh, John. I mean, Shields does have power. She's just not a one knockout artist, but not many of the girls are. A lot of stoppages come from a flurry of punches and the other girl just can't fight back. You know, we see that all the time. There's only a few that can get them knockout punches, obviously Savannah being one of them. Savannah's not slow. It's her style. It's an unorthodox style for sure, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't call her slow either. I'd, like you say, it's style. If she was that slow, she wouldn't be getting those KOs. Let's put it that way.
I think she's not slow. But I mean, Clarissa is quicker, but she's not slow. And actually, she hand speed, even though she doesn't throw mad combos, her hand speed is quick. It's not like she throws her right hand and then it takes ages to drag back. Like, she is quick. And if footwork, it's not, she doesn't move like in and out like orthodox and like a normal person type thing because of her style. She just kind of creates angles. So she's not slow. Her movement's just different, I suppose. Whereas we see a lot of the girls move in and out, but that's more amateur anyway. That's what we see a lot in the Olympics. Whereas I do believe Savannah is good at once she's either hit a bit of a flurry or maybe through the jab, she can twist and create some angles to move out the way. Because remember, she's tall as well, isn't she? Her movement isn't going to be the same as others because she is so tall as well.
Yeah.
We'll do one more. Claressa Shields says she can take Marshall's punches. That's so harsh as well. Stephen Rose is not a Clarissa fan.
Well, it's not random to say that because she is a boxer at the high level. She has taken a lot of punches. And Hannah Gabriel's, people say, is probably the biggest puncher before Marshall came along. And Shields took that. So she's, you know, I believe she believes it. Definitely.
Shields, like you say, I mean, people go, well, she's not being in the ring with someone like Savannah's power, but equally Savannah's not being in the ring with someone like Clarissa. So, yeah, I mean, you could go at it all day, couldn't you? But there's no way Clarissa can't take the power because she wouldn't go to the fight, would she? She just would not turn up. She genuinely believed that she could not withstand Savannah's power. Then she wouldn't turn up. But equally, Savannah has every possibility of dropping Clarissa if she can catch her. So, I don't know, we'll see. I think it's whoever implements the game plan first, which I know sounds dead obvious, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think the first few rounds are going to be a bit of a slow starter, I reckon. It'll be a case of who can literally implement their game plan first, because their jobs will be to stop each other from doing it, which will be exciting.
And obviously, Team Fury, you know, the Fury camp, Marshall, they will be on the massive wind up the next few days, especially just before the fight. Weigh in, I'd expect some antics almost to try and wind up Shields. Angry because obviously if Shields comes forward more, she's going to get hit more. So I think that's going to be a big part of their game plan as well, in my opinion. If you in a way like piss Clarissa off, because she likes to load up on her shots sometimes, Clarissa, and that is where I think she could
get hurt.
Yeah.
But if she just boxes like she can, she'll be fine. Conor Rice just made a good point. Dee Allen is fighting this weekend, of course. We love Dee Allen, massive fan. Can she get another knockout? She didn't even want to go the rounds.
Yeah, I reckon she's a knockout queen at the moment, and hopefully then she gets put on a bigger, a big platform, because I know that's what her and her team are hoping for, because she can be on these shows. They're always offering her shows. She's up to fighting anybody.
So she's welterweight, isn't she?
Yeah.
But because I know they wanted her on a boxer show and then they put someone else on and it just didn't quite work out. And you were like, oh, Dee Allen would have done such a good performance, because unfortunately, I know the shows she's on aren't necessarily always streamed, but you always see like the video footage of these knockouts and you're like, oh, if she was on DAZN or Boxer or wherever, how good would that clip be?
This is going to be streamed on Into Boxing. YouTube. Same card that
Nina Hughes
to defend her WBO international super bantam title.
Yeah, so that's a really, really solid card. Actually, it's a shame it's clash, but for people watching the fights at home, just have one on the TV, one on your laptop, you're sorted.
And of course, the other fight is Sky Nicholson, because we're talking about that. We should have mentioned to Ebanie is Sky Nicholson, because obviously she's fighting as well.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight as well. Gosh, we're spoiled. We can't even name them. And Heather Hardy's coming back, and she looks an amazing chef.
So excited for Heather. Heather the Heath Hardy, let's go.
She is game. She is going for it this time.
Love Heather Hardy.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah, so like say Sky Nicholson's fighting. I think with the time difference, does she end up fighting like the morning time? Does it go to like Sunday morning for us, does it?
No, Saturday morning.
Saturday morning for us. Was it a Friday night show?
No, because they're ahead time-wise. So Saturday morning will be their evening.
Yeah. Okay. So Saturday morning for that. When's Heather Hardy fighting?
I don't know if it's Friday.
Yeah, it's this week though, isn't it?
Yeah. And
looking forward to that as well. I can't wait to see Heather back in the ring. Very excited. I was very upset when she couldn't fight Terry. Oh, but that would have been a great fight. But yeah, exciting times, loads on. Everyone's going to have to either watch it on TV, laptops, iPads. It's all going on. Obviously, we're expecting to get quite a bit of content on the Friday press conference. Weigh-in. I should be there. I'm like nervously excited for that. like Christmas Day when you're a kid. So we should get content from that, and then we're going to get content all day Saturday. So just make sure you're following us. We should have loads coming up on YouTube, shouldn't we?
Yes, definitely. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Yeah,
I am.
To be there with you, Sasha, because obviously we do all this every week, the show every week. We speak to each other pretty much every day, I think, to do the channel.
Yeah.
I've only met you once.
I know. I was talking about that the other day to someone. They didn't believe me, and I was like, no, really? I was like, she could just be crazy for all I know, but she's just been hiding it.
Wait.
We'll see what happens in London. Yeah, so Dream Team were back. I mean, the first time was obviously the Sheffield show, wasn't it? And I was a bit heartbroken, obviously, after that, because Terry lost, but it's okay. I'm feeling better this time around. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and obviously very nice of Boxer to allow both of us to go as well.
Yeah, that's really nice that they've allowed that. That's
And who was it? What a shame he's not watching now. Who was a little bit upset that I'm going, because obviously I was meant to be on holiday the first time round.
Oh yeah, your little friend on Twitter.
Yeah, I forgot his name now. But I hope I've not upset him too much. I'm sure he's put in a complaint to Boxer. But obviously I'm there. I'm just there to support you, Susie. When you're thirsty, click them fingers. And I've got you your water.
You're saying that on Twitter. You're like, don't worry, I'll just bring a coffee and water. So I messaged you afterwards, and I was like, by the way, I'm expecting a coffee now.
I know, I dug myself into that. But that will be exciting. So if you're not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we should have quite a bit of content, shouldn't we? And of course, our social media channels. We're just going to bombard them with a sold out show. That's something else I wanted to point out. We're all our friends now who are telling me it wouldn't sell out.
Top tier and everything.
And it's not going to sell out. No one's going to buy it. Someone was like, it's only going to do 3,000. So I was like, okay.
And when we did a competition for the 4 tickets, it was
Yes.
our most. It was a competition that we've had the most entries for, the most entries for.
Yeah.
So people are very excited about it.
Yeah, and actually that is something I want to point out. I was meant to say, the buzz on social media, especially on Twitter, everyone's going. So I, like, you know, obviously we'll post out like, oh, we're going to this event, and no one's ever like, oh, so am I. Like, everyone's like, oh, I'll be watching at home. On this, everyone's going.
Yeah,
It's going to be crazy. Like, all of Twitter are going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be mad. Like, it's everyone who absolutely loves this sport, you know, women's boxing in particular, who's going to be there.
Yeah.
But what I love is there is a massive crossover now, and especially because you're seeing ordinary sort of male boxing fans that are taking note, tweeting about it, and I think that's brilliant. But because Conor Ben's fight, you know, Conor Ben Eubank fight was postponed, so many more eyes are going to be on this event.
Yeah.
Like, I think someone else pointed out on social media, they're going to be starved of the boxing. So now suddenly more eyes are going to be on this. And it's free on Sky. Don't even have to pay for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, which is so good, isn't it? Again, just super accessible. Like you say, last weekend didn't happen. So this weekend will just show how professional fighters can be. They can turn up, clean athletes. I hope they all make weight. And just show everyone how it's done. And like I say, no one had boxing this weekend. And, you know, that was going to be a super, you know, super card with Conor Ben and Kristina O'Hara. But this will be better anyway. No one wanted to see them, so it's fine. Right, so I'm excited. So this time next week we're going to know who the winner is of all of these fights. Cannot wait.
But yeah, definitely tune into our channel. Keep looking at YouTube. Keep looking at our socials, because we're going to probably bombard it with a lot of content this week, and rightly so, because this show deserves to have that platform.
100%. Cannot wait. And well, Susie, I'm going to see you in London.
Yes, see you Saturday.